hopefully, and I'm not gonna get my hopes up, get the engine set in today. Well, before I set the engine in and move it back, well, I mean, still need to figure out a way to do that, but you can see right there how everything looks. It's not the best, but it'll do. The truck's not built to be perfect. I need to get that out of my head and build it to be a good driver and a fun truck to drive. Because I always enjoyed driving my truck. And I know I got a 68 GTO sitting there, and I'll enjoy driving that too, but I want to drive this daily again. So being perfect isn't really on that list. And I got the seam sealer built up a little bit taller so it doesn't do what it was doing before. The seam sealer was so low that the water went down there and used the seam sealer as a channel. That's probably what caused that over 40 years. Whereas now it's a little bit taller than the metal, so it should come up to it before that valley and then go down, and that should fix that. I'll try to figure out something to do here later that might be a little bit different to save me a lot of that headache in the future, possibly by covering those holes with removable panels to keep a lot of that water out, especially the debris, because that's probably what did it. Debris sitting up there for ages and ages. So if I can take care of that, may not ever have an issue again. Now, get back to where I originally was going before I got that big sidetrack, and that is setting the engine back. Okay, so the way I got this set up currently is I'm sitting about 1.25 inches back, center of the hole to the center of the slot, and that gives me enough room to go as far as 1.5 inches if need be, roughly. So I feel that's a good spot. And it's the same thing down here. Now the back hole back there is just far enough off that I can't do anything with it. I may have to add a brace back there, whatever. But that, I set this up like this, the brace will come on, I'll weld the brace on when I get the engine transmission out to build the engine. But obviously right now I just want to go ahead and make sure everything fits. I feel like that should be good. And let's not forget, if anything happens, you can always just go ahead and simply weld in the holes, grind them flat, and then re-drill again somewhere else if things go that bad. Now I've got the bolts just sitting in there. The holes are about this, it's a little bit bigger than the bolt, which is perfect. The factory holes are a little bit larger than that even, so I'm stopping there. I'm not going to go any larger. I'm going to try to get a measurement here and do the same thing to the other side, and according to that, it's moved. As long as everything is true square, I moved 1.25 inches. So I'm going to snug this side down, move the other side. Feeding time again. Here, Don. So I got both the mounts moved back 1.25 inches. It don't seem like a lot. It almost doesn't look like I really moved it at all, but I did. Mounts are back, bolted back. I got them as close to even on each side as I could. I think when I did that, they moved down a little bit. Like this got a little bit further, so may change that a little bit, but from the looks of it, I think it'll work. It looks pretty well even all the way around. And it looks like I can go ahead and hopefully just set the engine in and everything will be alright. That's in and sitting a lot better. It's aesthetically more pleasing. From the looks of it, I'm going to be honest, it looks like the engine could possibly set a little bit lower in the engine bay, because everything's sitting pretty well good. I can get this valve cover off. I just got to do it like that. I got to twist it a little bit. Smaller brake booster would help a lot, which I will anyway, just to give me some more room, just in case I need to work on it. Because that's stock rockers right now. I would like to do an all-roller setup, so it'll probably set a little bit taller anyway. So, I'm going to crawl up under there, put the headers up, and see how they fit. Alright, so all the hard work paid off. You see they're bolted in? Look at that. I did have to take the oil filter housing off to get the header to fit up in here and clear, but the oil filter housing will fit back. It's going to be a pain to kind of get to, but it'll be alright. And what I'll probably end up doing, because it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a pain to get the filter off, and I kind of want to, because there's so much room here, I will probably actually run an external oil filter, come up this way, across this way, and probably down right there, out of the way. And maybe even with a small cooler on it as well. But you can see that fits. It's sit back. We clear everything over here. I mean, it is close right there. But if some of y'all remember the Daily Driver, the gray Daily Driver, the small block Chevy headers that are made for that truck, that are supposed to fit that truck and that engine, have just about as much clearance as these that are not made for this engine. And again, see right here, a little bit of room. You can see where I cut that off, it gave me a ton of room. And if I climb up here and we look back, you can see I got a little bit of room there, a little bit of room here, still enough to do what I need to do, and still got a lot of room over there, but we know why. Yeah, that's perfect. And of course, yeah, that doesn't look perfect, but once intake sits up on here, air cleaner, you know, all that stuff, and the wiring goes where I need to run the wiring, yeah, it's not going to be a big deal. So, yeah, I am happy. So there it is. Got a lot of that taken care of. It sits in here good. I know these headers fit. I'll keep the part number because I got to give it back to my buddy Brian. I sold him these headers and then borrowed them back to retest fit them after I set the engine back. It's weird, but it works, you know. His engine's still at the engine shop, so it's not like he needs it at the moment anyway, but he's probably going to get ready for them, so I'm going to take them back off now. But I know they fit, and that's what I needed to know. And oddly enough, a lot of people said you couldn't get A body headers to fit, and the car these were going on felt, well, these are pretty well a universal Pontiac header. If you look online at the part number, it'll fit a huge range of GTLs, Le Mans, and Tempests. The early A bodies and some of the, it even says some of the late A bodies, you know, like the 72 and such. So they fit this truck. So I'm happy right there. It's getting closer and closer. I mean, it's fairly well in there. I think it could be a little bit tilted one way, but I'm not sure what to do there. Maybe a little spacer or a washer under one of these support braces would move it a little bit. But that's when I start nitpicking, and I'll just look at that later. But right now, I'm going to end it here because I've done quite a bit. Got it set up, got to put all this back together, cover it back up, and call it a day. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, thanks for watching.